This time, look at the all-new BSA Gold Star 650. It's been some time since Classic Legends purchased the BSA name, but now we finally have an all-new British designed 650 single. But what do we actually know about the bike? And how well is it going to stack up against what's going to be its principal rival, the Royal Enfield Parallel Twins? Well, on the spec sheet at least, for what that's worth, they are fairly similar. Similar weights, similar out-and-out power, and similar general performance. And having road tested the Interceptor, I can tell you that it makes an excellent road machine, and one that's going to give the new BSA a tough time in the marketplace. But specifications only get you so far. The big question is, what's the bike really going to feel like out on the road? Well, we know it weighs about 200k, that it makes 55 Newton meters of torque at 4,000 RPM and 45 horsepower at about 6,000 RPM. But a big part of that is how the thing's actually going to feel when you're riding it. Is there a balance shaft in there? One would assume that there is. We know it's a liquid-cooled 4-valve single, but how long is the stroke? If it's a long-stroke motor, which I think it could well be, given the fairly low RPM figures quoted, then it'll tend to produce its power lower down in the rev range. I've test ridden a KTM Big 700 single, and that used a fairly short stroke, and the bottom end power wasn't very good at all, I have to say. Although there was a real top end rush at the end, the thing felt quite peaky and unpleasant. A good yardstick at this point could well be Classic Legends' other reborn classic, the Jawa. No, not that one, the Czech motorcycle. This is similarly equipped with a single cylinder, 4-valve head engine. It's also water cooled, so one might assume that there are some similarities in the basic overall design. This machine's done pretty well after some initial teething problems, but that engine is a little bit peaky when compared to, say, Royal Enfield's 350 opposition. Now that's a relative term, of course, and generally the engine is generally described as having a good spread of power, although one criticism has been that, if anything, it actually feels a little bit modern, and perhaps lacking in character. Whether that will carry over to the BSA, we shall soon see. Suspension's 5-way adjustable at the back, with no adjustment to the front. How that's going to perform on the road? Well, if the Jawa is anything to go by, it's likely to be adequate rather than spectacular. There's a 5 rather than 6-speed transmission. The fact there's only 5 speeds tends to indicate that again we're looking at a fairly torquey motor which won't require the extra gearing, and that performance is intended to be modest in terms of road bike use. There's Brembo discs front and rear. These of course will feature ABS in Europe, and I expect they'll be up to the performance of the bike. This has been a truly international effort, with styling done by a British firm, while engine work was done in Austria, which of course will immediately bring thoughts of Rotax, that old Austrian engine firm, to mind. The COVID crisis of course has affected the development of the bike, and much of the work had to be done in India. And this of course brings us to the question of where the bike will finally be assembled, at least for the European market. There is talk of a factory in Birmingham, but whether this will come to pass, at the moment we just don't know. This could well have an effect on how the bike performs in terms of sales in the European market. Another major factor will of course be the price, and how that relates to their major opposition over at Royal Enfield. The bikes are slated to go on sale at some point in mid-2022, but yet the price is not known. There are a few colour and style options available. Deb's sitting on the very nice red one. There's also going to be a black colour option, a silver, and a prestige model which will also be silver, but will feature lots more chrome. Personally, I can't wait to get one of these bikes out on the road for a test drive, just to see if it does give it that performance feel of an older bike, whilst of course maintaining modern standards. Well, I do hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, thank you for watching.